I stared at the screen, my hands shaking. The email was clear. I can't stop thinking about you. It wasn't meant for me. It was from my wife to her coworker, and I'd found it because someone hacked my account. I woke up to a notification on my phone. Your email account has been compromised. I groaned, thinking it was just another spam message. But when I opened my laptop, I saw it. Dozens of emails forwarded to an unknown address. Someone had hacked me. I started scrolling through the forwarded messages, my heart pounding. Most were work-related, but then I saw it. An email from my wife, Emma, to someone named James. My stomach dropped. The subject line read, "I miss you." I clicked on the email. It was short, but devastating. James, I can't stop thinking about you. Work feels unbearable when you're not here. My hands trembled as I read it again. Emma and I had been married for 7 years. We weren't perfect, but we were happy. Or so I thought. Who was James? And why was she writing to him like this? I closed the laptop, my mind racing. I needed to talk to her, but what would I say? That evening, I waited for Emma in the living room. She walked in, smiling, until she saw my face. "What's wrong?" she asked. I held up my phone, showing her the email. Her smile vanished. "Where did you get that?" she demanded. "My email was hacked," I said, my voice steady. "Who's James?" She sighed, avoiding my eyes. "He's just a coworker," she said. "It's not what you think." But it was exactly what I thought. After the confrontation, Emma retreated to the bedroom, leaving me alone in the living room. The house felt colder than ever. I replayed our conversation in my head. "It's not what you think," she'd said. But what did that mean? Was it just an emotional affair, or was there more? I picked up my phone, tempted to call Sarah, my best friend. But what could she say? I was on my own with this. I couldn't sleep, so I called Sarah. She picked up on the second ring. "Hey," she said, her voice groggy. "What's up?" I told her everything. The hack, the emails, the confrontation. She listened without interrupting. When I finished, she said, "I'm sorry, man. That's rough. Do you want me to come over?" I shook my head, even though she couldn't see me. No, I just needed to talk. But as I hung up, I realized this was only the beginning. The next morning, Emma acted like nothing had happened. She made coffee, asked about my day, and even kissed me goodbye before leaving for work. It felt surreal. How could she pretend everything was fine? I stayed home, unable to focus on work. My mind kept drifting back to James. Who was he? And how long had this been going on? I spent the day going through the hacked emails. There were more messages between Emma and James, late-night conversations, inside jokes, even plans to meet for lunch. It was like reading a diary of their relationship. Each email felt like a punch to the gut. I saved them all, not sure why, but knowing I needed proof. That evening, Emma asked if I'd talked to anyone about the emails. I lied. "No, I haven't," I said. "I just want to forget about it." She seemed relieved, but I could see the guilt in her eyes. Was she lying to me too? Or was she trying to protect herself? I didn't know anymore. I met Sarah at a pub after work. She ordered me a beer without asking. "You look like hell," she said, sliding into the booth. "Thanks," I replied sarcastically. We talked about Emma, James, and the emails. Sarah listened, nodding occasionally. "You need to decide what you want," she said finally. Do you want to fight for your marriage, or do you want to walk away? I didn't have an answer. That night, I decided to take action. I emailed James using a fake account. We need to talk, I wrote. I didn't know what I'd say, but I needed answers. As I hit send, my heart raced. Was this a mistake, or was it the first step toward the truth? The next morning, I woke up to a reply from James. My heart pounded as I opened it. His message was short. I don't know what you're talking about. Leave me alone. Was he lying? Or was he as clueless as he claimed? I stared at the screen, unsure of what my next move should be. When Emma came home, I showed her James's response. Her face paled. He's lying, she whispered. We've been talking for months, but it's not what you think. I crossed my arms. Then what is it, Emma? Because it looks like an affair to me. She shook her head, tears welling up. It's complicated. That night, we had our first real fight. Emma insisted it was just an emotional connection, nothing physical. I was lonely, she said. You were always working. Her words stung. Was I really that absent, or was she just making excuses? The argument escalated until she stormed out of the room, leaving me alone with my thoughts. I called Sarah again, my voice shaking. I don't know what to do, I admitted. She sighed. You need to decide if you can forgive her. But first, you need to know the whole truth. Have you considered couples therapy? I hadn't, but it felt like a lifeline. Maybe, I said. I'll think about it. Emma agreed to therapy, but the first session was a disaster. She cried, I yelled, and the therapist struggled to keep us on track. By the end, we were both exhausted. As we left, Emma grabbed my hand. I want to fix this, she said. I nodded, but I wasn't sure I believed her. I couldn't stop thinking about James, so I decided to track him down. I found his office address and showed up unannounced. He looked surprised to see me. What do you want? He asked, his voice cold. The truth, I said. He sighed and invited me in. James and I sat in a conference room. He admitted to the emotional affair, but denied anything physical. I cared about her, he said, but I never meant to hurt you. I clenched my fists. You didn't have to, I said. She's my wife. He looked away, guilt written on his face. When I confronted Emma about James's admission, she broke down. I'm sorry, she sobbed. I was so stupid. I never wanted to hurt you. I held her, but my heart felt heavy. Could I ever trust her again? I spent the weekend alone, thinking. Could I forgive Emma? Could we rebuild our marriage? I didn't have the answers, but I knew I couldn't keep living in limbo. I decided to give her one more chance, but only if she was willing to fight for us. On Monday, I told Emma my decision. If we're going to make this work, we need to be honest with each other, I said. She nodded, her eyes filled with determination. I promise, she said. I'll do whatever it takes. I hoped she meant it. Out of curiosity, I hired a cybersecurity expert to track down the hacker. A week later, he called with the results. It's someone close to you, he said. My blood ran cold. Who would do this, and why? I started questioning everyone, Emma, Sarah, even coworkers, but no one seemed to know anything, or were they just good at lying? Paranoia crept in, and I found myself distrusting everyone. Finally, the expert revealed the hacker's identity. It was James. My jaw dropped. Why would he do this? Was it to expose the affair, or was there another motive? I needed to confront him again. I marched into James's office, demanding answers. "Why did you hack my emails?" I asked. He looked nervous. "I wanted you to know the truth," he said. "I never meant to hurt you, but Emma wasn't being honest." When I told Emma about James hacking my emails, she was furious. "He had no right," she shouted. But I couldn't help wondering, if James hadn't done it, would I ever have known the truth? News of the affair spread at Emma's office, and she was ostracized. James was transferred to another department. Emma came home in tears one day. "I can't do this anymore," she said. I didn't know what to say. Our therapist suggested we take a break from each other to figure things out. Emma moved into a friend's place, and I stayed in our house. The silence was deafening. I missed her, but I also felt relieved. Without Emma, the house felt empty. I spent nights watching TV, trying not to think about her, but her absence was everywhere, in the photos, in the furniture, in the silence. Sarah stopped by with takeout. "How are you holding up?" she asked. I shrugged. "I don't know. I miss her, but I'm also angry." She nodded. "It's okay to feel both." One day, I found a letter from Emma on the kitchen table. She wrote about her regrets, her love for me, and her hope for a second chance. Tears streamed down my face as I read it. Could I forgive her? After reading Emma's letter, I called her. My voice trembled as I spoke. "I miss you," I admitted. There was silence on the other end, then a soft, "I miss you too." We talked for hours, revisiting old memories and sharing new fears. It felt like a small step forward. We decided to meet at a cafe, neutral ground. Emma looked nervous as she approached the table. "Hi," she said, her voice small. "Hi," I replied. We sat in awkward silence for a moment before she reached across the table and took my hand. Emma apologized again, this time in person. "I'm so sorry for everything I've put you through," she said, tears in her eyes. I nodded, my throat tight. "I want to believe you," I said, "but it's going to take time." After the cafe, we took a walk in a nearby park. The air was crisp, and the leaves crunched under our feet. Emma talked about her feelings, her mistakes, and her hopes for the future. I listened, my heart heavy but open. That night, alone in the house, doubt crept in. Could I really forgive her? What if she did it again? I paced the living room, my mind racing. Forgiveness felt like a mountain I wasn't sure I could climb. I called Sarah again, pouring out my doubts. "Forgiveness isn't about her," she said. "It's about you. Do you want to carry this anger forever?" Her words hit hard. Maybe she was right. Emma and I started spending more time together. Short walks, quiet dinners, and long talks. Each moment felt fragile, but we were trying. One evening, she cooked my favorite meal. It tasted like home. One night, Emma told a joke, and I laughed, really laughed, for the first time in months. It felt strange, but good. Maybe there was hope after all. Just as things were improving, I found an old photo of Emma and James at a work event. The pain rushed back, and I confronted her. "Why didn't you tell me about this?" I asked. She looked ashamed. "I was scared," she said. Trust felt like it was slipping away again. After the photo incident, we had another difficult conversation. Emma admitted she'd been holding back, afraid of losing me. "I need to be honest, even if it hurts," she said. I took a deep breath. Me too. It was a small breakthrough, but it felt significant. To rebuild our connection, We planned a weekend getaway to the countryside. It was quiet, just the two of us, nature and our thoughts. We hiked, talked, and slowly reconnected. On the last night of our trip, Emma asked me point blank, "Do you think we can make it?" I looked into her eyes, searching for answers. "I don't know," I said honestly, "but I'm willing to try." Coming back home felt strange. The house still held memories of the pain, but also of the love we'd shared. Emma and I agreed to take it one day at a time, rebuilding slowly. We fell into a new routine: morning coffee together, evening walks, and open conversations. It wasn't perfect, but it felt real. I started to see glimpses of the woman I'd fallen in love with. One day, Emma had to work late with a new colleague. My mind immediately went to dark places, but instead of jumping to conclusions, I took a deep breath and trusted her. When she came home, she told me everything. It was a small victory. Our wedding anniversary approached, and we decided to celebrate quietly at home. Emma gave me a handwritten card, and I gave her a small gift. It wasn't grand, but it felt meaningful. That night, I looked at our wedding photos. We were so young, so full of hope. Had we lost that? Or could we find it again? I didn't know, but I was willing to try. Emma suggested we join a couples support group. At first, I was hesitant, but it turned out to be helpful. Hearing other people's stories made me feel less alone. We decided to have a proper date night: dinner, a movie, and no talk of the past. It felt strange at first, but by the end of the night, we were laughing like old times. One evening, Emma looked at me and said, "I love you, and I'm going to prove it every day." I smiled, feeling a weight lift. Maybe, just maybe, we could make it. Emma and I were invited to a family gathering at her parents' house. It was the first time we'd be seen together since the affair became public. I was nervous, but Emma held my hand as we walked in. Her family was polite, but distant. It was a reminder of how far we still had to go. During dinner, the conversation was stilted. Emma's mother asked about work, and I felt Emma tense up. I changed the subject, but the silence afterward was deafening. Later, Emma apologized. "It's okay," I said. "We'll get through this." After the gathering, Emma and I stayed up late talking. "I'm sorry for putting you through that," she said. I pulled her close. "We're in this together," I replied. It was a small moment, but it felt like progress. To spend more time together, Emma and I started taking cooking classes. It was something new, something we could build together. The first class was chaotic, but we laughed through it. One evening, James called Emma's phone. My heart sank as I watched her answer. She kept it short, professional, but I could see the tension in her face. Later, she explained it was work-related, but I couldn't shake the unease. Our therapist suggested a trust exercise. Emma would share her phone and email passwords with me, and I'd do the same. It felt invasive, but we agreed. The transparency helped ease some of my fears. We planned another weekend trip, this time to the coast. The sea air was refreshing, and we spent hours walking on the beach. Emma wrote our names in the sand, and I took a photo. It felt like a new beginning. An old friend of mine visited, and we had dinner together. He asked how I was doing, and I hesitated before answering honestly. "It's been hard, but we're working on it." He nodded, respecting my honesty. Emma and I celebrated 6 months of actively working on our marriage. We exchanged small gifts and wrote letters to each other. It wasn't a grand celebration, but it felt significant. One quiet evening, Emma looked at me and asked, "Do you think we'll make it?" I took her hand and said, "I think we already have." It wasn't perfect, but we were choosing each other every day.